If you ever wondered why two clients should never have the same exact brow mapping, this video is for you. Today I'm showing you 3 real clients. I'll be using the same tools, the pre-inked string and my caliper ruler. But you will notice something important. The tools stay the same, while my decisions change completely. Because great mapping isn't about formula or following a formula. It's about understanding the face in front of you. Now let's get into it. This first client had a fairly balanced face, but her natural brows weren't sitting exactly where they needed to be. The first thing I did was to determine my center line using the pre-ink string. Think of this as creating the foundation if your foundation is off. Every measurement that follows will also be off. Next, I used my caliper ruler to check the head, the arc, and the tail. Now, here's something many beginners get wrong. The ruler gives you reference points. It doesn't make artistic decisions for you. As I measured, I was also studying her bone structure, the direction of her natural hair, how it grew, how her facial features worked together. Those observations influenced my final mapping far more than the numbers alone. That's the difference between simply measuring and actually designing brows. Now, for my second client, this client presented a completely different challenge. Her brow bone was softer, and like most people, her face wasn't perfectly symmetrical. And that's something I'll always tell my students: stop chasing perfect symmetry. Human faces aren't even mirrors. Instead, our goal is visual balance. So although I started with the same mapping process, I adjusted my guideline placement slightly to create better harmony across her face. The caliper helped me confirm my measurements, but I didn't force her face to fit the ruler. Now, one adjustment I made was lifting the arc slightly. It was a subtle change, but it opened her eyes beautifully and created a more refreshed appearance. Now, those tiny adjustments are usually what clients notice the most, even if they can't explain why. For my third client, now let's talk about fuller brows. A lot of artists think fuller brows need more correction, but in many cases, they actually need less. The goal isn't to redraw everything, it's to respect what's already beautiful. So here I established my symmetry lines with the pre-ink string, confirmed my proportions with the caliper ruler, and then made a conscious decision not to overmap. Now, that's a skill many artists develop with experience, knowing when to stop. Good mapping should guide the brows. It shouldn't fight against them. Sometimes restraint creates the most beautiful result. You'll be so tempted, but you have to restrain yourself if you are looking at getting a beautiful result with a client with full brows. So there you have it. 3 different clients, the same mapping tools, 3 completely different decisions. That's why brow mapping will never be a copy and paste process. It's about understanding facial anatomy, proportions, and making adjustments that suit that particular individual sitting in front of you. If you found this helpful, subscribe, because I'll continue breaking down real client cases like this and showing you the thinking behind every step, not just the technique. And if you're ready to learn how to map with confidence instead of memorizing measurements, I'd love to have you in one of my training classes. I'll see you in the next video.